are you doing?
Yeah. All good. All good. Yeah, I'm glad it's working now. I think I was too far away from the office that I was stealing their Wi-Fi from. So
Yeah,
I'm okay now.
it's always a good trick though, hey? It looks really nice
Yeah.
where you are. Where are you?
It's called Childley Estates.
Yeah.
It's about, I'd say it's my house, couldn't I? Yeah, I live here.
I know, should have done.
Childley Estates, it's like 2 minutes from my house.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Wedding venue, and it's got some barns around the back where we store our pizza equipment, so all our ovens and things are there. So yeah,
Cool.
it's not a bad place to work from.
Yeah, cool. Well, thanks so much for taking the time out today. You are first person on HIREside Talk, so pressure's on, I think, for both of us.
Nothing to live up to, but I guess you got to set the bar high.
Exactly. But well, let's go straight into it. And I guess to start with, do you want to just tell everyone who you are and what you do?
Okay, my name's Rory Laffan, and I guess I'm here because I run B Recruitment, which is a recruitment hospitality company in London. Have done for it's over 15 years now, Ali. It's a long time.
Really? 15 years.
Yeah, 15. I think it's even longer. But I don't know how long we've known each other for.
I know. I was actually thinking about this. I think it must have been when I was at Five Guys. I think that's probably when we met. So it must have been, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. 5 years.
It seems longer.
It does, doesn't it?
It does seem longer.
Yeah.
So this is so B Hospitality. But the reason why I'm here is because I also run Fired Up Pizza, which is a big wood-fired ovens that we take to events throughout the year. We should be doing next week or the week after Cambridge Beer Festival, which is easily our biggest event. It's
really
3,000-4,000 people every single day, packed into a small space. But like most other events this year, it's just not happening.
Yeah.
So,
and have you been able to focus on the pizza business?
We've just started doing Fired Up Pizza at Home kits, which basically you get a pack delivered. It's got fresh dough, mozzarella, tomato sauce. And the idea was originally for families, for something to do with the kids, but it's been a big hit for everyone really. We do date night pizzas. We're doing, I think later today, the reason I'm here is because I'm packing for a latest delivery. We're doing a children's party. So a children's party is having their pizzas delivered. And obviously they can't see each other. So live on Zoom, each one of the children are making a pizza together.
No way.
So yeah. So it's like a Zoom fired up children's birthday party later. So people
That's
are being really inventive. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good. And how long have you guys had Fired Up Pizza?
8 years. I looked the other day. 8 years. It's something that started fairly small, and then we sort of peaked a couple of years ago, and then we kind of, well, as you guys would know, starting from kind of, did Phil and Tom start from street food? Did they have
street food in Brighton? Yeah, street food in Brighton.
Yeah, so that we're lucky enough to be established now for 8 years, but that market is saturated now. Street food, it's a really tough market. But luckily, we sort of not scaled down, but we're focused on kind of quality large events now and corporate events and things like that. So we're not as busy as we used to be, but we are still just really homing down on the quality stuff. We're not getting too old to drag ovens through our fields. Last year was a nightmare. I don't know if you remember, it rained so much.
Yeah.
We snapped an oven axle. I pulled my back. We got stuck for a day. It was just carnage. So and that was at a grime festival as well, just to top it all off.
Way.
So we're going to stick with what we know a bit more.
Yeah, it must be quite nice, obviously running B Recruitment, which, who are well known in hospitality, as well as kind of running your own hospitality operation, if you like. Yeah,
it's nice for loads of reasons, because recruitment, as you know, working in recruitment, sometimes, it's a fairly tough industry. You got a lot of people to please. You got a lot of kind of hoops to go through, and at the end, you know, it's people are really grateful, but pizzas is completely different. You give them a pizza, you serve them a pizza, they pay you your £8 and they're happy instantly. It's a
Yeah.
really simple kind of, you know, thing that happens. And also the other big thing I've found has been really helpful is I've got so many friends and people that I know in hospitality. I've got a lot of people to kind of draw on. Phil, your founder, was one of them actually, because he was, we ended up trading next to you a few years ago, and I
Yeah.
sort of remained in touch with him, and it's, yeah, it's good. It's good fun. It's good fun. They're nice people as well that do it.
Yeah. I guess it's, I mean, has it able to, for you, you know, working in recruitment, it kind of keeps you in with the current trends and challenges in the industry. I guess having the pizza business alongside recruitment,
Yeah.
so you're able to talk to your clients.
I've kind of always felt like an operator to a
Mm,
degree rather than a recruiter,
yeah,
because I started working in hospitality uh, and worked up towards management. And I just feel like the recruitment's just like an add-on now
yeah,
to the operation side of things. Y- The one thing it does do, every time you do a 12-hour shift and sell 500 pizzas, you remember just how hard work it is.
yeah,
And when you go into a restaurant, you just how polite and how hardworking these, you know, these people are, and just how grateful I am for these
yeah.
people. Yeah, makes you grateful, I think.
Definitely. Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah, when you go and do a shift, you just realise, wow, it's not all, you know, smiles and hellos. It's, you know, it's tough work, isn't it? So
It's it's tough, and one of my massive bugbears is people that are rude to
mm,
people in restaurants. You know, it's you don't see it so much now, but
yeah,
when people are rude to waiters or waitresses, you just want to turn around, and sometimes I do turn around and just say, look, it's not their fault, you know.
yeah,
It's not
yeah,
their fault. Give
exactly.
them a break.
Yeah. And what keeps you going? What, you know, what gets you up every morning?
uh, Coffee
Yeah,
straight away. Uh, yeah, you definitely need those forces. Like, I think in the early days, when you've got youth on your side, I'm 43 now,
yeah,
you got that hunger to kind of get up. Now it's definitely my children, definitely providing for my family.
yeah,
Um, I do genuinely love what I do still. If I
yeah,
did recruitment in any other industry, I think I'd find it hard to be passionate about it,
yeah,
because it's quite office based. There's lots of searching, there's lots of networking. Um, and yeah, you've got to keep yourself fit and healthy at my age as well. To get up in the morning, you have to go to the gym. I think uh, you have to look after yourself in your late 30s and 40s. But
You guys at
yeah,
B Recruitment, don't you do gym classes together? Isn't that
yeah,
is that right?
yeah, two or three of us did. Yeah, we do it with a manor. It's brilliant. They're downstairs, and it's like this. It's this really kind of authentic gym where everybody's kind of got their own. It's like a community, really.
Mm,
If it had a culture, it'd be like a culture like you guys, like Honest or Pizza Pilgrims. It's kind of more of a club, really, and everyone's just sort of helps out. But yeah, last year or this year, last year, we invited some clients down, and it was really good fun, because we don't do much kind of networking, if you like,
yeah,
but we got them down to do some gym sessions, and they were blown away by it. And it was really it was really great to see people out of their normal sort of situations. People weren't drinking, there was no alcohol involved, which is often what networking is all about. It was about lifting heavy balls, pulling ropes, and yeah, lots of those people are now in talks with the manor, and they do kind of um, they're trying to implement this kind of health and well-being within their mental health is massive in
mm,
hospitality, as you know, but the physical health is really, you know, heavily connected with that. So they're starting to implement more of a kind of healthy culture rather than a drinking culture.
yeah,
And I think that's been, you know, you must have seen it, that the tide's been turning slowly
mm,
from drinking lots and going out and partying to maybe kind of cycling to work and
Yeah, I
going to the
think it's
gym.
so good because actually you did invite me to that event. I don't know what excuse I made for not coming, but
There was a lot of excuses.
I think I was away. I think I was away. Otherwise, I would have actually come. But I think it's good that you
Uh,
can do that because, yeah, I think you're right that maybe 10 years ago or even 5 years ago, maybe it was such
just getting
a drinking culture. No worries, you carry on. It was a drinking culture, and every networking event had to be around alcohol. But
yeah,
yet, us in recruitment and in people focused positions, it's all about well-being and mental health, and sometimes alcohol is the biggest trigger for that. So it's good that you're kind of exploring different ways to network in the new world, really.
completely. Like, don't get me wrong. I love wine. I love bitter. I love all alcohol, to be honest. Uh, but it doesn't. It has the opposite effect. It demotivates you. You eat bad food, and for a lot of time in hospitality, having been there, you go out in large groups of people, you make bad decisions.
Yeah,
It doesn't motivate you. It doesn't give you a good basis to go out and be your best self, or have that. I think the big thing is having that energy that your team feed off as well. If you're a leader in hospitality, you don't actually have that. We originally started it for the fact to get over. We used to have, and I think most people get it. You have your lunch in an office. You've been sat down for a while. You get that slump.
yeah,
We now go to the gym instead for 45 minutes, and you get a peak again about 2-3 o'clock, and the productivity is the way that you feel is just immense.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I'd recommend going to the gym at lunch rather than sitting down and looking at your phone for 45 minutes.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I'm just exercise in the morning just sets me up for the day, and then it gets about 3 o'clock. I have to go for a walk. I have to go do something, bit of fresh air, and then we just restarted for another few hours. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So what would
Uh,
yeah what would you tell your younger self?
just be honest, be yourself, work hard, and just make sure you get the balance right
Yeah,
when you're growing up.
yeah.
It,
What do you mean by being honest?
being honest, I think a lot of people, me included, when you're younger, when you're in your 20s and 30s, working in hospitality, meeting lots of older people, meeting lots of companies, you don't necessarily have that confidence to say what you think, or the way you act in certain situations. But what I realize now is the more honest you are, the more you get from people, and the happier you feel. You don't always have to please everybody in the room.
Yeah,
I'm not talking about upsetting people. Be kind as well. Be kind is a massive thing, but just be honest. Just be true to yourself, and you'll get better results, and you'll be a happier person. Because that's one of the big things I'd say to my younger self.
yeah, yeah. No, that's cool. And I guess isolation and how kind of life is at the moment. Certainly from me, it's given me a bit of time to kind of reflect and
Yeah.
take in a lot and think about things career wise and personal. How about you? Has it kind of made you think about your purpose or your why a bit more?
Yeah, 1,000,000%. Yeah, completely. Yeah, it completely has. It's one of the biggest things in the last few days that's happened, actually, because I pack and deliver our pizza kits because it's quite a small scale at the moment. So you're driving around in your van in between your drops,
Yeah,
and I had this feeling the other day, like when we drop our kits off, there's either lots of children in the window or there's people, and we work with Cambridge Wine, so we're dropping off pizza and wine.
yeah,
Everybody's happy to see us. There's not
yeah,
one person that goes, "Oh no, pizza and wine, bang." As a recruiter, you have a lot of that, don't you? Oh, you do
yeah,
recruitment. Oh, okay. But
yeah,
then it got me thinking, like, I like to make people happy. That I like to make people happy because I used to work in hospitality. That's what we went into hospitality for, to make people happy through service and through food. And then I am working in London,
mm,
as you well know. you find yourself getting caught up in the whole kind of system and, you know, meetings here, schedules there, and you just find yourself just kind of, you know, almost being dragged through it sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, you get so caught up, you get so many pressures, and you're juggling these recruitment projects, and you're juggling this, and juggling your team, and you forget your why sometimes. But going back to the original question, I think it's just pure and simple, helping people, making people happy. And for me, that is, when I'm talking to candidates, is to help them develop their career, give them advice about companies, and try and break them down and find their why, because that's one of the main things I do in interviews in our team. Find someone's why. You know, don't listen to what they think that we want to hear. And if I'm talking to you or other clients or anything else, it's just to try and make you happy by delivering the best person that potentially you thought you couldn't find, hopefully, or you didn't know that was in the market, and just making the two parties happy. And that's what I got from delivering pizza to families. It was pretty simple, but it hit me last week, actually.
Yeah. That's really cool. I don't know if you've seen the Deliveroo advert on TV, and it's like, yeah, the kids just getting so excited that Deliveroo are here. And that's pretty much what it is nowadays, isn't it? It used to be the ice cream van. Now it's Deliveroo.
I haven't seen that because I haven't had time to watch much telly, but that's exactly it. That's exactly it. Like, you turn up, the kids are literally out the windows. You get these little notes from these kids, and they've drawn you little pictures. The parents are happy because we get used to, like, if you don't do your homeschooling, you don't get to make your pizza. You know, that's 100% what it is. You know, just making their day. Not like yesterday where I forgot a kit for a family, whole kit. So I've got to go back and rectify that later. But we're not really set up yet properly.
And kind of that probably leads on to quite a nice question. Yeah, what's been the biggest lesson you've learned, or any failures along the way?
Yeah, loads of failures.
We've only got like 15 minutes left, by the way, so you can't.
Loads. I think you learn every, like, yesterday I forgot a whole family, but it's just how you deal with that failure. Like, so we're going to give her a free pizza kit, you know, today to make up for it. I think lessons wise, going back to what you said, being honest, you know, being true to yourself, being true to other people, and just trying to treat people how you want to be treated. I think if everybody did that, we'd have a much happier society, and a much happier workforce, and a much happier teams. And I think, failures. There's been a few. There's been a few. Not one massive, huge failure, but I think, you know, even last year, just talking about hospitality and pizzas, you know, don't overstretch yourself. We really overstretched ourselves last year. We got into markets we didn't really understand. We went to festivals we didn't really understand, and we got out of our lane a little. And we just realised that, and this is going back to recruitment as well, actually, it's about quality, not quantity. You know, do what you're doing really, really well. Don't try and take too much on. Don't try and please everybody, because you're just going to end up with a very average kind of service and approach. Sorry, can you hear that? It's
like a lawnmower.
The lorry, sorry.
No, don't worry. Don't worry. And I guess, you know, it's when you're in recruitment, there's so many wins and memorable wins, and I'm sure there is fired up as well. But what's kind of been your most memorable achievement or memorable moment? And that could be, you know, personal as well.
In recruitment, there's been loads. I love speaking to people and finding out, you know, kind of what their current situation is, what their frustrations are, how it affects their life, or, you know, in an adverse effect, and putting them into much better positions with companies they thought they could be into. You know, whether or not that be, you know, a reduced hours, more money, or just working with like-minded people in a culture that suits them. I think, and that that's what I try and do on every single kind of recruitment project placement that we do. Is try and get that, rather as again moving away from quality, working with lots of numbers. It doesn't give me any satisfaction, working on large scale recruitment projects. It's about working with individuals. Definitely, I think, because you get that feedback. You lose it if you do it on a mass scale. And maybe 15 years ago I would have done it, but I'd prefer to work much more closely with people at the moment.
Who inspires you, kind of in the industry or just in general?
Well, I had to think about this. So work-wise, I started working with, this was a few years down the line, but I started working with Payne and Gunter, Leatherby and Christopher. They were big outside caterers for Compass. Have you heard of them?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's the biggest company, the biggest caterer in the world. Yeah. But they do stadium and they do events, hospitality. So we ended up at Henley Regatta one year, and they do, at the time it was the largest fine dining outside restaurant in the world, or in the UK, so we were told. There's 250 covers at Henley Regatta. I think it was 250 quid a head, and that was 10 years ago. So it was a lot of money. And there was a guy that used to head this up. So it was like one of the most prestigious roles of the whole sort of season. A guy called Julian Russell. And he was kind of one of these. So to put a bit of perspective in it, you'd have 250 covers paying 250 quid a head or somewhere around that. And their expectations were high. So we, Julian and the rest of us, we used to have, I think, 50, 60, 70 team members turn up the day before, and he would have to train all these guys to deliver, which was a fairly complex steps of service to people that he met. So within 24 hours, he'd got all these people, following these steps, smiling, being on point with everything. And he was just this guy. I met up with him last year, actually. He works at, I had to run it down, he works as a CEO of HQ Theatres and Hospitality now. Just to meet, to shake his hand, to have a coffee, because he was so calm. He had that kind of ability where, I think it's charisma, I think it was knowledge, I think it was just his manner, where everybody wanted to please him, to do, what he said. And he was just this really sort of, guy that everybody looked to. When we recruit managers, I always look back and think, right, where were they kind of on that sort of Julian scale? His people skills were immense. He could get people to follow him within 2 seconds of them meeting him. And you go, yes, Julian. Yeah, I really want to help you. It was amazing to sort of see, and he first got me thinking, yeah, this is cool. He was standing there in your tuxedos when you're sort of 21, 22. Yeah, and Julian, he definitely stood out for me as a younger person. But,
it's good when you have someone like that, though, because they'll kind of stay in your mind. I've definitely got someone that I used to work with, who I always think pretty much everything I do, or any project to take on, I always think, how would his name's Tim, how would Tim approach it, or how would Tim word it? So he kind of taught me every people skill I know, almost, like growing up, other than your parents, obviously. But they're inspirational characters, I guess.
Yeah, they're quite rare. You do still find them, but even when I met Julian last year, he was still the same. He was just the nicest person. But I think, looking back, you either wanted to please him or help him or want to be him. Just in the way that he treated you. And you're right. It does. I think when you're younger, it sticks in your head, and you just like you say, what would X, Y, or Z said. There's a few different people now that I speak to that work in restaurant groups that are just exceptional, and I'm always like, what would such and such think, or how would they judge it, or how they would approach it. But yeah, he was definitely someone in our early years that he was known for being like, he was he had a special people talent.
That's great. That's great. Cool. No, it's good. And I guess now with the kind of new world kicking in, the pizza delivery and Fired Up is just keeping you busy, just from a different side of things.
Yeah, we're starting to do a bit more on the recruitment side and thinking, what does that look like now? I think we've me personally and as a company, we've started to partner with more people recently, like PR companies, social media companies, consultants, and they're starting to, I think they're maybe a few weeks ahead of us, but we're now starting to think what part we play, in helping to sort of rebuild. I know it's going to be really different, but nobody really knows, because they're talking about Christmas time, aren't they? A lot of people are after 9 months rent-free periods.
Yeah, it's all about the unknown at the moment, isn't it? So I guess time will tell. Time will tell.
But
and sorry, carry on.
I was just going to say, I don't mind being a pizza delivery guy. Must be the oldest one, but I don't mind it. It's a nice break of place. I get to come here in the mornings. I get to go and see people in the afternoons, but it gives you time, like you were saying. You get a bit of time to kind of plan and think and find out what's important to you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And how can people connect with you?
Cambridge, if you want a pizza, go onto our Instagram account, go onto our website. There's details on there. We don't have an e-commerce or anything set up yet. We're looking at doing that. With just my poor wife Nancy's taking DMs, WhatsApps, Facebook messages, phone calls. So she's not on that. Recruitment-wise, at the moment, I'm talking. Well, there's loads of good things that's come out of this. I'm talking to so many different people on so many levels about just life and stuff. Like me and you, we've been chatting this week, and that's we've just been talking to different people and making different connections, and I've enjoyed that. And I think that will pay. A few months down the line, that will be really important that people are working together on various things, especially hospitality. As soon as this happened, I thought HR heads of people, they're going to have so many questions, because they've potentially got one of the hardest jobs at the moment, because they're dealing with so many people and they've never done this before. So I quickly set up a WhatsApp group, and I think there's now 50 of HR or heads of people leaders from London, mainly restaurant companies, lots of hotel groups actually, and they're all like sharing information. Like yesterday, it was announced that the seating outside, takeaways, and all sharing information on documentation about not steps of service, the risk assessment, stuff like that. So rather than each individual person trying to develop and go through all of this, they're all kind of pooling together, 40 or 50 of them, and it's great. And I just think we should be doing more of that in terms of hospitality, recruitment, and just people in general. Just
definitely.
Rather than
so it's so nice to see hospitality coming together, and I think recruiters have come together, certainly more over the last few years, and it's certainly something I've been trying to drive for the last few years, for people just to get together and help each other out. And certainly at the moment, what we're seeing is the whole industry has come together. So it's amazing to see that, and I think you guys are doing an incredible job as well. So you should be proud.
Thank you, mate. Thank you. I appreciate it. I think go on.
No, you carry on.
I just said the only people that lose out from not working together is us and the people working in hospitality, because we should be sharing information. If somebody wants to leave on Asperger because you don't have the right opportunity for them at the moment to be an ops manager, then give them a great reference and put them into contact at somebody at Pizza Pilgrims and Gavin over there, and maybe they want to come back in 2 years' time, because the growth continues. Previously, it's been really kind of highly fought over, and there's been no kind of connection or friendship, and that helps nobody.
No, completely agree.
Hopefully we'll see more of that. Great.
I think we're going to be running out of time, so we'll probably have to wrap it up there. But thank you so much for taking the time. It was awesome speaking to you, and yeah, we'll be in touch soon anyway.
Thanks for having me, and I'm going to go off and do my deliveries. Catch you later.
See you later, mate.
Thanks, Ollie. Thanks for having me, mate. Cheers.
Bye.
Cheers.